Well, that's not gonna work. Huh. I'm building this floating cabinet for tool and hardware storage, and since I don't want to buy drawer slides, I'm building my drawers in a specific way so slides are not needed. And I'm rubbing a little secret sauce on the bottom so they slide nice and smooth. There are a bunch of different styles of cabinets out there in the wild, but I have not seen this style very often. And although I'm making this for my workshop, this could easily be adapted to inside a house with some edge banding or hardwood. My table saw blade does not stay parallel to the blade like ever, so I use a speed square when I adjust it, which works well. Because I'm in a smaller shop, it's 198 square feet, not 200, I make workshop furniture that saves space. So my miter saw station has foldable wings, so when I'm not using it, they can fold down and be out of the way. Pretty much everything I've built in my shop has storage, but I still did not have a good place to store my speed squares, combination squares, screwdrivers, and I needed some other places to store hardware, screws, hinges, other things like that. So this cabinet's going to have some open storage so I can grab things really quick when I need them, and 3 drawers, because nobody wants to see screws. And I think drawers look nice on a cabinet. We'll get to the drawers in a little bit, but after I cut the sides here, I'm going to cut the back of the cabinet on the table saw. I'm using the sides to set my rib fin so the back can be the right size because I don't want to measure. That would be silliness. The plan is to secure the back to the cabinet sides using pocket hole screws. But as you'll see in a little bit, that did not work out as planned, as nothing ever does. Okay, maybe not nothing ever does, but if your name is Thomas Gojkovic, a lot of things don't go as planned. That's me. My name is Thomas Gojkovic. Okay, it's circular saw time in a little bit. Right now it's tape measure time, but it will be circular saw time very soon. I'm making an angled cut with my circular saw on the front of the cabinet sides because I think it'll be stylish, but it'll also save some space, but mainly the style thing. One thing that comes up pretty regularly when I make videos is people say they're a little nervous and apprehensive when using the table saw. Makes sense, it can be a little dangerous if you're not using it correctly, and a lot of people just don't know if they're using it 100% correctly. That's why I've created a free table saw guide with an instructional video to help you use the table saw confidently and avoid mistakes. You can find that free guide on my website, thomaswoodworkingacademy.com, and I'll also put a link to it in the description below. Look, I'm not measuring again classic Thomas. I'm using referential measurements to get the bottom and middle shelf to its correct size. I just find it's a little more accurate. I do have to sneak up on the cut, but I like this method a lot. Using referential measurements is a good strategy to get your pieces to the right size, but I also like to cut scrap pieces to what I think is the right size first before I cut my actual furniture parts. That's what I'm doing here with the vertical dividers. If you cut a scrap piece to the wrong size, it's no big deal, but if you cut your furniture part to the wrong size, then it's a big debacle and you have to remake everything. If I know you, and I think I do, you do not like big debacles, or little debacles, or probably even medium-sized debacles. Moving on. Now on to the fun part. Well, all this has been fun, but I really like making custom tool holders, and that's what I'm doing here. I did it a little while ago on a French cleat wall, and it's really fun to make something to hold something else very specific. It's also one of my favorite things about woodworking, along with taking plain old boring boards and sheets of plywood and turning them into something pretty cool. I really like making custom items that fit my needs. I tried to be a little too economical here, I think, by using these really small triangle offcuts underneath this top piece of wood. But what do you expect? I consider myself a bit of a shop goblin. I just love in pop culture, movies and TVs, sometimes there's a goblin working in their workshop late at night, scurrying around, being a little mischievous and creative, and I identify with that. If you also do, comment shop goblin in the comments below. To make all of these holders, I just used my drill and my jigsaw. Worked like a charm. Power tools are pretty dang cool, excuse my language, but when I started woodworking, it took me a while to learn how to use all the power tools I needed to learn to make cool things out of wood. The information online was scattered. Some of it was great, some of it not so great, and it was a little frustrating at times. That's why I created a digital course all about how to use the 7 most essential power tools in woodworking. It is a full, very detailed course with all the information in one place. But information alone can be useless if you don't actually use it and apply it. That is why in the course, I teach you how to build 2 full projects so you can practice your skills. And you guessed it, this cabinet is one of those projects. If you want to check it out, just go to thomaswoodworkingacademy.com. Time to put this cabinet together so we can start working on those drawers. And I like to keep things simple, silly. So I am just using butt joints and screws with a little bit of glue as well. If you wanted to be a little fancier, you could use rabbits and dados to put this cabinet together if you didn't want those screw heads to show. Or you can still use screws, just recess those screw heads and then hide them with dowels. I would recommend, if you're hiding the screw heads, not to use dowels you'll buy at the at the store, because the end grain of the dowel will be showing and it'll be much darker than the cabinet. I would get a plug cutter which goes in your drill so you can cut a plug yourself so the grain can match the cabinet. I'm not hiding the screws here with dowels, and I'm not going to even ask you if you know why I'm not hiding the screw heads. I know you know because you have a keen eye. I've been saying it for years. I'm not hiding them because for this cabinet, I'm using all 1/2-inch plywood. So the plywood's not that thick. There's just not enough room, in my opinion, and that's the only opinion I have, to recess the screws enough to get a dowel in there to hide the screw head. And you can tell that this is 1/2-inch plywood because of the way it is. All right, here we go. A mistake is a coming, and it's coming soon. Look at me, so naive and full of optimism. I'm using pocket hole screws to initially secure the back to the sides. What can happen with pocket hole screws sometimes is they're not always flush with the wood, and that's what happened here. After I secured all the pocket hole screws in the back piece, some of them were not flush with the wood, so if I would have secured this cabinet to the wall when it's done, the cabinet would not be flush with my wall. Usually what happens when I make a mistake, I'm so stressed that I don't turn on the camera when I'm trying to fix it. Luckily, I turned the camera on here as I tried to fix it. And I couldn't appreciate it at the time, but I'm glad I recorded it because it makes for some entertaining video. Even though it had only been about 10 minutes, the glue had set enough where I had to bring out the hammer. No more pocket holes. I'm fixing this by just recessing some regular screws through the back and then through the shelves in the cabinet. And also using glue, so this will be plenty strong. On to the drawers. I am a classic overbuilder. I use glue and screws a lot of the time. I am also a classic overthinker. So I thought longer than I would like to admit about what the reveal should be around the drawer fronts. That is the space in between the drawer front and the drawer opening. Mistake number 2 coming right up. Well, that's not gonna work. Huh. I cut all 6 front and back drawer pieces so that there would be an 1/8 of an inch reveal around all sides of the drawer, but I think it's just too big. With how small this cabinet is, I think a 1/16 of an inch reveal would be a lot better, so I'm gonna recut all the drawer pieces. That means the side pieces, the fronts, and the backs. Not that big of a deal, and I think it'll make the cabinet drawers look a lot cleaner. Is a 1/16 of an inch a big difference? No, but I have this thing whenever I'm making anything, I have to make it as good as I can make it. And I really do think that making this change, even though it's a really small change, will make the cabinet look a little better. Especially since these drawers are pretty dang small. There I go with the potty mouth again. One flaw that I see when other people make drawers sometimes is they add drawer slides and not all drawers need drawer slides, especially smaller drawers that are for shop furniture like these are. Especially if you have a lot of drawers, the cost can really add up. Another flaw I see is when people make wooden drawers with no slides or wooden drawer slides, they don't add anything to the wooden drawer slides or the bottom of the drawer to make them slide really smooth. When wood is rubbing on wood, especially plywood edges, there can be a lot of friction and the drawers won't slide very smooth. That's why I'm gonna add something to the bottom of these drawers when they're all put together to see if it'll make them slide a little smoother. And we'll find out in a little bit together if it works. I cut 1/2-inch wide rabbets on the side of the front and back pieces, so all I'll need to put these drawers together is some wood glue. I also cut rabbets on the bottom of all the side, front, and back pieces, and that's where the drawer bottom will go. Now we're getting to the good stuff. If you think I'm gonna spend a dime on drawer pulls when I'm not spending any money on drawer slides, you are mistaken. I'm not using any hardware for these drawer fronts, I'm just drilling some holes. Because the tip of the 1 3/8 inch Forstner bit needs to dig into the wood in order to drill the hole, I'm putting the tops of the drawer fronts together to drill the hole for the drawer poles. I used some scrap pieces of wood first and just double-sided tape, but the pieces moved around a lot, so I added the clamps. Another reason using scrap wood before your actual pieces is beneficial. There are so many ways to make drawers, and this is one of my favorites for workshop drawers, especially smaller workshop drawers. Normally for drawers this size, I would use 1/4 inch plywood, but because I was making the entire cabinet out of 1/2 inch, I just decided to make it easy on other people who are going to be building this cabinet and just made the whole thing, including the drawers, out of 1/2 inch plywood. I've gotten in the habit of using 3/4 inch plywood as my default for everything, when really 1/2 inch plywood would be great for certain things, especially a smaller cabinet or smaller pieces of furniture like this. Let me know in the comments what you do. What do you build out of 3/4 inch plywood versus 1/2 inch versus 1/4 inch? And do you think I should have used a different thickness of wood on this project? And what do you think a shop goblin would have used? Probably a pile of rusty nails held together by spite and questionable life choices. At this point, the drawer is not perfectly square, so I thought that when I added the drawer bottom, it would square things up. Spoiler alert, it did not. No problem, sometimes that happens, so I had to use an extra clamp to persuade the drawer back in square, and it worked well. When I first started woodworking, I bought a combination square, and it was horrible. I did not spend a lot of money on it. It was very cheap and never stayed in square. So I actually took the ruler out and just used it. I still use it as a metal ruler. Fast forward to a few months ago and I thought, you know, I really should get a combination square, a nicer one, because I think I could use it a lot in my shop. So I went to Taylor Tool Works and bought one from Benchmark, a nice one, and it was a higher price point. It was $70. And that's a lot of money for me to spend on a measuring tool. And I know what you're thinking, what, $70? You could have bought 10% of a Festool dust extractor. But totally worth it, it works really well. I'm putting finish on my shop furniture. I know it might seem silly. The main reason I do it, honestly, is because it makes it look nicer. It does add some protection, but I really like how it brightens up the grain. I'm not gonna lie to you. I try never to lie to you, and I won't do it here. I was very excited that this was only made out of 1/2 inch plywood instead of 3/4 inch plywood, because it made securing it to the wall a lot easier because I had to do it by myself. I would have asked my 2- and 3-year-old daughters, but they were napping. Okay, let's see how the drawers slide with nothing on the bottom of them, and I'm gonna weigh them down with some boxes of screws. All right, let's see how this drawer slides with these screws in here. Oh, it's okay, it slides pretty well, but there's still a little bit of friction. Let's see if we can fix that. I've used paste wax before, which worked fine, but I've gotten this recommendation to me over the past few months by several people, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Candle wax, and yes, it has to be a number 3 child's candle or it won't work. Let's load this back up and see if it makes any difference. All right, let's see what we got. That felt smooth. Ooh, that is very nice. It's actually a lot smoother. I think it would be even more noticeable if the drawer was bigger, but that's still a pretty big difference. Thank you, number 3 candle. If you have any other techniques to make drawers slide smoother, let me know in the comments. There are many different ways to make wooden drawer slides, so you don't have to spend money on metal ones. And in this video right here, I used a pretty cool technique, which of course I stole from another woodworker. I'll see you over there.